What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down some new catalysts coming out for the day, not to mention what the news is saying about Tesla. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer is very soon at the end of March. So as far as Tesla's going, we're looking bullish for now. We have to try to hold above 362. This is the next resistance area. This is also where we had previous resistance in the past. So we're going to be watching this very, very key level. And if we could break this, we're looking for 368 as our next potential targets. But I do want to warn you guys to be very careful of Tesla right here, especially as we see some new news. One thing worth mentioning is the fact that Guilfoyle has come out and they've mentioned that the operating free cash flows for Tesla are very beastly. The balance sheet is a work of art, and they're very excited about the long term as a result of this. And we're seeing more headlines talking about what Leg has been saying about Tesla, as they think Tesla could release more affordable models in 2025. And they're very, very excited about the growth that's coming. They're very excited about the robotaxi, despite the fact that sales are down for the short term for their vehicles. They think that the robotaxi could help to offset that. So that's kind of like the view that they're taking. Besides that, I'm seeing Elon Musk getting lots of criticism from the news. It's very political, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But that's continuing. It's not really affecting the share price for now. So far, we're doing a good job at holding up. I'll be very, very patient nonetheless. I talked about the things that Donald Trump announced in terms of his new tariffs and how his plan was essentially looking. So I went over this already, and his words could still be affecting the markets today if there's enough momentum. So I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. We already went over the details. If you want to see more details about what he said, just watch my previous video where I went over all the details. Now, looking at the market today is Friday, February 14th. So have a very happy Valentine's Day, everyone who's out there. Whether you have a Valentine or not, it could still be a great day. But anyways, looking back at the way the market's moving, we have some data coming out. We have industrial production and manufacturing numbers coming out at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And besides that, we have Logan giving a speech from the Fed, so everything is quite minor just for the time being. Keep in mind that SPY has about 700 plus thousand puts expiring and just a little bit under 360,000 calls expiring. So the majority of positions are in puts right now. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. There's a very, very high amount of these puts expiring compared to calls. So we'll see what this leads to, at least from these market makers. Will they cause the market to run more or not? I'll be listening to that. I went over earnings. We had Moderna, which just announced their earnings. Their guidance was not the strongest, if anything, and I would say earnings overall was so. Revenue is at basically 966 million. That was technically above expectations, but their EPS was a small miss. But then their overall sales growth is looking. It's been on a bit of a downtrend ever since like the pandemic. If you actually look back to what has been going on. But for guidance, despite it not being as strong, we still are seeing the share price trying to push because of decent earnings for this quarter. So, with that being said, let's focus now on what's happening to Tesla in the markets. If Tesla breaks past 362, we're going to be looking for an attempt to get up to 368. If you reject here, we're looking for our main support at 353. So look at 360 flat. If that doesn't hold, so I'm looking for 353.5. If that fails, then yes, we could turn back down, and this is going to be looking for a move back to the 340s. So those are going to be your two main levels to watch for. I wouldn't be surprised if we make a move like this where we kind of like pull back a little bit to fill that gap. And we'll see if we can try to balance and get back above 363 or so. We'll be watching this very, very closely. This is going to be a very, very tough resistance because we hit this rejected, hit this rejected, hit this rejected many times before it finally broke. And there's also a time where Tesla touched this as support and tried to rebound a bit. So it's going to be a very, very tough level. So watch this 362 area. Can Tesla break through this or not? I do expect a little pullback when we open to once again come down to fill that first gap. And we'll see if we get a bounce from here or not. So watch and see a big test at 362. We're testing it right now. If we get above it, 368 is a very, very strong possibility. I'll be watching that very closely. It's a tough resistance Tesla's at already. We were correct about Tesla gapping up. That's what it's going to be doing so far. For SPY, we're looking at a potential breakout right here, breaking through this resistance. And when you zoom out, we're actually making new all-time highs. I think we just touched the all-time high. So like I said in my video yesterday, we're going to be very unbiased about this from when we actually trade intraday. Just know that if we manage to break the 610 area, there's going to be an attempt for 615 very soon. And if we get a rejection, if SPY does not hold 608. If we get a big rejection off this, just like how it rejected many times between 608 and 610, there's going to be a move back down to 605 or below. So reject and lose 608, we dip to 605 or below. Break past the 610, so we're looking for an attempt to get back up towards 615. This is favoring upside a little bit more, looking at the trend and how much momentum may remain. But we'll see just to be safe. So be unbiased when the market opens and watch and see if you reject or not. I do want to note the chart technically favors upside, but just to be very, very blunt, be careful. Same thing with the QQQ. Now, we're above our key resistance at that 535 area. If we hold above that, I'm going to be looking for an attempt for essentially 540. And if we end up turning back down, if we end up losing support right here around 533, we could be looking for a move back down to 530 or below. The chart has an inverse head and shoulders. It is favoring 540 plus as the most likely possibility. But watch and see what happens at open. Can we hold above 535 at the very least? As long as we do, we are going to be favoring 540 plus for more upside. For the Russell 2000, we look a bit more bullish. As long as you don't lose 225, we're favoring a push closer to about the 228. So just keep that in mind. There is more upside potential in this. For ES, we are technically on a bit of an uptrend. We're actually doing a good job so far at holding up. But just know that we're trying to get back up to this resistance right here. We're going to be watching to see if ES could hold up. As long as we don't lose like 6122 and 6100 flat, that range of support, this will favor upside a bit more for 6168. If 6100 fails us, we will turn back down. For now, the chart looks like it wants to break out. So like this could be the next leg up. Remember how we break through these channels? That's a signal. So there's a good chance that it's trying to break out higher, but we'll see just to be safe. As long as 6100 and 6122 hold, we're looking for the all-time high to be retested. NQ looks bullish. We have like a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. As long as we don't lose 22,000, we are favoring that we're going to continue to push for 22,300. Bitcoin's in the middle, very flat right now. We're going to give this some time to develop. I need to see it break 97,158 to start pushing a little higher towards 98,500. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Nvidia is looking bullish. As long as we're above 135, we do favor this gap for like 142, which is very probable. If we lose, by the way, 135-ish, we could be dipping to like 130. I already went over Tesla. We're fighting some tough resistance at 362. If we do get a small little dip when we open, and then if we bounce and break through this, like I said before, 368 becomes a good potential target. And then also we have this next resistance up here. So we'll see about that, guys. We have potential in Tesla, but it's at a tough resistance. Aapl, as an inverse head and shoulders, it's possible it kind of dips a little bit right here into the high 230s before it tries to bounce. As long as we could get back above 240, this will eventually favor a push for 246 by the end of the day today, if not by early next week. So for now, we look a bit more bullish as long as we can hold 240. If 240 does not hold, we're looking for 235 as the main support. There is most definitely potential in this nonetheless. For coin, we got a little rejection here. It might be dipping back down towards like the 283 to 285 area before it tries to bounce again. It's just a small little dip even after earnings came out. Amazon's looking kind of heavy here. I would love to see it get back above 230. If not, it could be dipping to about a retest of 228, and we'll see if we bounce or not. Meta, however, is holding up very well. We're looking for support at 720. We might dip to 720. We'll see if we bounce off that or not. See the green line? Every time we touch this, we bounce over and over again. So in this case, if we hit 720, we need to see it bounce again to start pushing for 730. If we lose 720, this is going to be dipping closer to like 715 all the way down to 710. So I need to see 720 hold. It might dip towards that. We'll see if we bounce. For Microsoft, we're currently flat here. We have to see if 408 holds. As long as this holds, we could try to bounce as well. And then for Google, I want to see it get back above 188. If we reclaim 188, we could be pushing for 191. So we'll see. We're forming a nice bullish divergence. So hopefully it tries to bounce. The VIX, it's up just a bit, but like I said before, looking kind of bearish. If 15 fails us, this will be dipping a bit more as the market performs an attempt for a next leg up. So we'll see about that. With that being said, SPY and the QQQ are looking promising. Tesla's at a very, very tough resistance right now at 362. I hope we break this and continue to pump. That is looking very probable, but we'll see just to be safe. So throw bias away when you day trade. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening. Peace out.